What's up, y'all? It's your man, Dad Dude, bringing you guys another video. So should Andy Dalton remain the Panthers starter even when Bryce Young is healthy? First of all, I understand why some fans are asking this question. I've heard it a lot on the local radio and on social media, and I get it. You watched Andy Dalton throw for all those yards against Seattle. The offense looks somewhat decent with him behind the center. I understand it. But the answer to that question is absolutely not. No, this season should be all about Bryce Young getting experience, getting reps, getting used to the speed of the NFL game. That is what this season should be about. This season, I think we all knew was going to be a season for the Panthers organization to build. I think some people had unreasonable expectations for what the Panthers could be this year. I didn't. I thought they might win 6 games this year. It seems like they might struggle to get to 6 games. But I think reasonable people always knew that this season was going to be about building this team. If this season is for building, you got to play Bryce Young. You got to have Bryce Young on the field gaining experience. I don't really think it behooves the organization at all to play Andy Dalton. If you play Andy Dalton, you might win 1 or 2 more games than you would have if you played Bryce Young. What does that really do for you as far as the Panthers' future? Nothing, I don't think. Playing Andy Dalton is not gonna get this team to the playoffs. That's not what it's gonna give you. It might be the difference between winning 4 games and winning 5 or 6 games, but I'd rather only win 4 games and Bryce Young gain very valuable experience than win 5 or 6 games with Andy Dalton and Bryce Young sits on the bench and doesn't get those very, very valuable reps. Now, can you learn the game sitting on the bench? Sure, there is some value to that. But I believe there is more value to just playing. I don't think anyone believes that Bryce Young is struggling in his understanding of the game. It is how that understanding plays out when you have a 250-pound linebacker who runs a 4.4 coming full speed at you, and you got to make that read and make that throw. Bryce Young can make the read on paper. Conceptually, I'm pretty sure he knows what reads to make, what routes beat what coverages, and when to make the throw, that kind of stuff. What he's missing is doing that stuff in live game action. So he needs these reps. Andy Dalton has seen all these coverages. He's had plenty of reps. So of course he's going to look better than Bryce Young right now. And Andy Dalton, for all of his faults, I've said plenty of times, has been a successful quarterback in the NFL. Andy Dalton has led teams to the playoffs. He didn't win the playoff games, but he has led teams to the playoffs. He has been a successful quarterback. It is no surprise that a seasoned Andy Dalton is going to look better than Bryce Young, who has had 2 NFL games in his whole career and is still adjusting to the NFL game. This season is about Bryce Young. This season is about building this team. Now, this team is missing some key components, but even still, with the offensive line struggling at times, with the lack of talent at the wide receiver position, you still got to play Bryce Young. He still needs these live reps. He will be better for it going forward in his career by having this experience. If you sit him behind Andy Dalton this year and he just sits on the bench and watches Andy Dalton play, and then next year, he'll be 1 year into his NFL career, but he won't have the amount of starts that most other rookie quarterbacks have who are drafted in the first round. He won't have the experience. So he'll have some of the same issues next season when he's out there and he's having to make these reads and make these throws with these freak of natures they have on defense coming at him trying to take his head off. So it is better that we have Bryce Young on the field. We get to watch his growing pains. Is it going to be fun for the fans sometimes? No. Is he going to make a lot of mistakes? Yeah. Is he going to have some turnovers? Is he going to miss some throws? Of course. He's a rookie quarterback who is still learning the game and gaining experience. And I'm saying this as somebody who, you can go back and watch my past videos. I was not in favor of drafting Bryce Young. But he is our quarterback now. We have to give him the chance to learn the game. He has to go out there and gain that experience. The Panthers, I don't believe, gain anything by playing Andy Dalton and sitting Bryce Young on the bench. I understand why some people are saying that, and I get it, that this fan base is just starved for wins. And right now, it does seem like Andy Dalton might give you the best chance to win, but we also have to take his performance against Seattle with a grain of salt. So far this season, Seattle is the worst defense that the Panthers have faced. I believe Bryce Young would have looked markedly better against Seattle than he did against the Saints or against the Falcons, because the Saints and Falcons have much better defenses than Seattle does. So it is not a surprise that Andy Dalton went out there and looked serviceable. He looked better than serviceable, but it is not a surprise that the offense looked a little better against Seattle. Seattle's just the worst defense that the Panthers have faced so far. So you got to take his performance with a little grain of salt, but again, it's not a surprise that the offense looked better with Andy Dalton. He's a veteran. He has seen all the coverages. He has gone against all these freaks in nature that play on the defensive side of the ball. He knows the speed of the NFL game. Bryce Young does not at this point in his career, but this is the time for him to learn those things in his first season. We'd rather have him learn those things now when the team is not really built to compete than him have to learn those things next year when maybe the Panthers add a few more receivers, or they maybe add another guard or tackle or whatever, and the offensive line is better and the team is expected to compete for the division, but Bryce Young is still having to go through those growing pains with a team that is built to compete. You don't want that. You want him to learn these things now. You want him to learn these tough lessons and go through the growing pains now when the team is not expected to win. That is a better environment for Bryce Young than in the future when the fans really have expectations and he's still struggling. So no, the Panthers should not start Andy Dalton. Bryce Young is a Panthers quarterback. Put him on the field and let him play. That's the time for you on this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go hit that thumbs up. If you are so inclined, subscribe and leave a comment. I respond to just about everything. And I'll see you guys in the next one.